None of it's recorded?
I don't know. I mean, a lot of it was. I think this whole chapter might not have been.
It's good it wasn't. Well, listen,
I want to go back to Milwaukee.
Excuse me, so I went to the bathroom.
Should I push you?
Yes. Okay. Hi,
I
Peg.
pushed you, took us.
That's us.
Uh-huh, I got took us.
I want to go back to Milwaukee and talk about Sarah and Joe. And that's such a big part of your life.
it
And
changed your life.
it's changed your life, and it's brought you so much joy and a little bit of anguish maybe. Tell us about that.
Well,
How old were Joseph and
when I
Sarah?
started at Highland Community School, I was 26. And that was the same age that Joseph and Sarah's mom was when she died of breast cancer. That was 3 years before I got there. I started out in primary, and Joseph and Sarah were both in elementary, but Sarah had just transitioned up. So they were 8 and 6. And I think Sarah was the first one to sort of court me, as opposed to the other way around. Or it wasn't about Rick, it wasn't about Joseph. Sarah really was like, will you be my mom? Come to my birthday party, things like that. So I think I fell in love with her first. I was teaching Spanish one day a week in the elementary class, and as staff we would rotate who was on the playground. And Joseph was a really angry child at that time. It wasn't specific to me, but he was just, causing a lot of, he was just oppositional with staff. And so Tim Duack said, who was also a teacher there at the time, their teacher, said, I think you should get to know this family outside of school, which is exactly the opposite of what nowadays we would say to our teachers, like keep space. But anyway, I had them all over for dinner and was showing Joseph my violin, and it was like the beginning of getting to know them. And then by that December, I was living on the east side, and Joseph and Sarah and Rick lived downstairs from Tim and Angel on the west side. Psst. You're wearing a Stoner shirt.
Don't interrupt the tape.
Okay, sorry. So, right around December was when Tim Sowers got shot, and there was that incident where someone grabbed a purse and went chasing after them, and the guy turned around and shot him. And Angel was pregnant with Oriana, the youngest of their three, and Tim was in the hospital, so Angel asked if I would come stay with her until I got out of the hospital in case she went into labor. And I lived in the turf, and then slowly moved my way downstairs. So that was the beginning of Joseph, Sarah, Rick, and me.
They were 6 and 8? I didn't think they were that young.
When I first met them.
Yes.
And I waited until Joseph was 14 to do formal adoption, because in Wisconsin, if you're 14 and up, you have to tell the judge.
That you wanted.
Right, it can't happen to you, you're not, it's not,
Right.
you participated in it. So, they were 14 and 12, and I think it was February 15th that I adopted them, and then.
When you were explaining to them what you'd like to do.
But I already was living with them and
Right.
parenting.
No, but this formality, if
Yeah.
you will, did you tell them individually or together? And can you visualize where and when you did it?
Yes. But before that was two things that I think were significant. One was taking each of them one-on-one to see Terms of Endearment before knowing that that movie was actually about their lives, but it just seemed so similar. So I think that was profound. It was the only time I ever remember Joseph just coming home and sobbing and sobbing and sobbing and holding him, and, sort of dealing with his mother's death and all the things that had happened. And, remember the movie?
If you want one?
You remember the movie Terms of Endearment?
Yes.
Yeah. And then
Should we add that one to our list?
of course, it would give you another perspective, reminder, but I forgot the other thing I was going to say.
Well, you took them each to that movie individually.
But, yeah. I was going to say something else that was, I don't know, we did lots and lots of going away every summer and camping, and I think that what I did with them was take them out of mourning. They were a house of grief. So I think there were a whole bunch of things that were really fun and special about going to the Grand Canyon or Southwest or North.
But Sarah, can you imagine Sarah and you being any closer than you are today?
No.
Yeah. I mean, she's really your daughter.
And on that note, let us say amen.
You want?
We need a little pause.